Imagine a football giant, once invincible, now struggling to regain its former glory. A club with a rich history, but a present clouded by doubt and criticism. Today, we're diving into the harsh reality that nobody respects Arsenal. But is this a reputation deserved, or is there more to the story? Stick around as we find out. Arsenal Football Club, a name that once struck fear into the hearts of opponents across England and Europe. Founded in 1886, the Gunners have a storied past filled with triumph and glory. They've lifted the FA Cup a record 14 times, claimed 13 league titles, and even gone an entire Premier League season unbeaten. But that's just scratching the surface of their illustrious history. The club's glory days are punctuated by legendary players such as Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and Patrick Vieira. These icons helped shape Arsenal's identity as a team known for its attractive, attacking football. Under the guidance of visionary managers like Herbert Chapman and Arsene Wenger, Arsenal revolutionised English football, introducing new tactics and training methods that would influence the game for generations to come. But as we all know, football is a game of, what have you done for me lately? And lately, Arsenal's struggles have overshadowed their rich history. The question on everyone's mind is, how did a club with such a proud legacy fall so far from grace? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the invincible season of 2003 to 2004. It's the crown jewel in Arsenal's trophy cabinet, a feat so extraordinary that it's become both a blessing and a curse for the club. Going an entire 38 Premier League game season without a single defeat is the stuff of legends, a record that still stands today and may never be broken. Led by the incomparable Thierry Henry and supported by a star-studded cast including Robert Pires, Patrick Vieira and Sol Campbell, Arsenal played some of the most scintillating football ever seen on English soil. They weren't just winning, they were dominating with style and flair. The Invincibles set a standard of excellence that would define Arsenal for years to come. But here's the rub. How do you follow up perfection? The Invincible season became both Arsenal's greatest triumph and their heaviest burden. Every subsequent team has been measured against this impossible standard, and unsurprisingly, they've all fallen short. It's like hitting a hole-in-one on your first day of golf. Everything after that is bound to feel a bit anticlimactic. Fast forward to 2018, and Arsenal faced a seismic shift. After 22 years at the helm, Arsene Wenger, the architect of modern Arsenal, stepped down. It was the end of an era and the beginning of a tumultuous transition period that the club is still navigating today. Wenger wasn't just a manager, he was an institution, and his departure left a void that proved incredibly difficult to fill. The post-Wenger era began with Unai Emery, a highly regarded coach with success in Spain and France. But Emery's tenure was short-lived and largely unsuccessful. The team struggled to find its identity, caught between Wenger's philosophy of beautiful football and Emery's more pragmatic approach. Fans were left wondering, had Arsenal lost its way? Then came Mikel Arteta, a former Arsenal player and Pep Guardiola's protege. Arteta brought renewed hope and a clear vision for the future. But rebuilding a team takes time, and Arsenal fans, accustomed to success, have found themselves in unfamiliar territory, looking up at their rivals instead of down on them. Now, let's talk money, because in modern football, it's impossible to separate on-field performance from financial realities. Arsenal's move from Highbury to the Emirates Stadium in 2006 was supposed to usher in a new era of prosperity. The increased capacity meant more ticket sales, and the modern facilities would attract top players. But there was a catch, and it was a big one. The Emirates Stadium came with a hefty price tag of around £390 million. This debt became a millstone around Arsenal's neck, limiting their ability to compete in the transfer market just as football's financial landscape was changing dramatically. While clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City were being bankrolled by billionaire owners, Arsenal was counting pennies and selling players to balance the books. This financial constraint had a ripple effect on every aspect of the club. Arsenal couldn't offer competitive wages to keep their star players, nor could they splash the cash on ready-made superstars. Instead, they had to focus on developing young talent and making shrewd, budget-friendly signings. It was a noble approach, but one that often left them outgunned in the increasingly money-driven Premier League. As a result of these financial constraints, Arsenal gained an unwanted reputation, that of a selling club. Year after year, fans watched in dismay as their best players were lured away by rivals offering higher wages and better chances at silverware. The list reads like a who's who of football talent. Cesc Fabregas, Robin van Persie, Samir Nasri, Ashley Cole, all departed for greener pastures. This constant exodus of talent had a demoralising effect on both the team and the fans. It created a perception that Arsenal was a stepping stone rather than a final destination for top players. The club seemed more interested in balancing the books than building a competitive team. Rival fans started joking that Arsenal was their feeder club, a farm team developing talent for the real contenders. But here's the kicker. While selling these players often made financial sense in the short term, it undermined Arsenal's competitiveness on the pitch. How can you build a cohesive team when your best players are constantly being poached? It's like trying to complete a jigsaw puzzle while someone keeps stealing the pieces. Arsenal's struggles in the transfer market have become the stuff of legend, and not in a good way. For years, fans have watched in frustration as the club has missed out on top targets, often due to a reluctance to meet asking prices or wage demands. The phrase "Arsenal nearly signed him" has become a running joke in football circles, with stories of near misses including Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and N'Golo Kante. But it's not just about the players Arsenal didn't sign, it's also about the questionable signings they did make. For every Alexis Sanchez or Mesut Ozil, there's been a Shkodran Mustafi or a Nicolas Pepe. Big money signings that failed to live up to their price tags. These transfer missteps have not only cost the club financially, but have also hampered their on-field progress. The roof of Arsenal's transfer woes seems to be a combination of financial caution and indecisiveness. While other clubs are willing to take risks and act quickly in the transfer market, Arsenal often seems paralysed by indecision. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: Arsenal's trophy drought. Since their FA Cup victory in 2020, the Gunners have failed to add any major silverware to their cabinet. For a club of Arsenal's stature, this lack of success is both surprising and concerning. It's not just about the trophies themselves, it's about what they represent: progress, achievement, and the ability to compete at the highest level. This trophy drought has had a significant impact on the club's reputation. In football, success breeds respect, and Arsenal's lack of silverware has led many to question their status as one of England's top clubs. For years, Arsenal was known for its consistency, specifically its ability to consistently finish in the Premier League's top four. Under Arsene Wenger, the Gunners achieved this feat for 20 consecutive seasons, a remarkable run of consistency that ensured regular Champions League football. But here's the rub: consistency isn't always exciting, especially when it all falls short of ultimate success. While other clubs were challenging for titles, Arsenal seemed content with their top four trophy. This led to accusations that the club lacked ambition, that they were more interested in the financial benefits of Champions League qualification than in pushing for Premier League glory. Fans began to grow restless, yearning for the excitement of a genuine title challenge. The irony, of course, is that Arsenal, a few years back, found itself longing for those consistent top four finishes. It was a classic case of, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. But for Arsenal to truly regain respect, they need to aim higher than just top four. They need to be in the conversation for the title. And it looks like Mikel Arteta has brought them back to where they belong. The Champions League anthem is one of the most iconic sounds in football. For years, it was the soundtrack to Arsenal's seasons. But recently, Gunners fans have had to get used to a different tune, the somewhat less prestigious Europa League theme. It's like going from flying first class to being squeezed into economy. You're still travelling, but it's just not the same. Arsenal's relegation to Europe's second-tier competition had significant consequences. Financially, it means less prize money and smaller TV revenues. In terms of prestige, it's a clear step down, making it harder to attract top players and retain existing stars. But last season's return to the Champions League was promising, with the Gunners reaching the quarter-final stage. Can Arsenal finally win the Champions League? In the world of football, perception is often reality, and Arsenal's perception in the media has taken a battering in recent years. Pundits and commentators seem to take particular glee in highlighting Arsenal's shortcomings, whether it's tactical naivety, mental fragility, or transfer market failures. It's like Arsenal has become the Premier League's favourite punching bag. But here's the kicker. This negative media portrayal has created a siege mentality among Arsenal fans. There's a sense that it's us against the world. The media and pundits are unfairly targeting their club. While this can create unity among supporters, it can also lead to a dangerous disconnect from reality. Are Arsenal really being unfairly criticised, or are they simply being held to the high standards their history demands? Few things illustrated the changing perception of Arsenal better than the Wenger out campaign. Arsene Wenger, once revered as the club's greatest ever manager, became a divisive figure in his later years. Fans, frustrated by the lack of major trophies and seemingly stagnant tactics, began calling for his head. The Wenger out campaign highlighted the growing disconnect between the club and its fan base. On one side were those who believed Arsene Wenger had taken the club as far as he could and that change was necessary. On the other were those who felt Wenger's legacy deserved more respect and that stability was key to long-term success. The debate raged on social media, in pubs, and in the stands, creating a toxic atmosphere that undoubtedly affected the team's performances. In the end, Wenger did leave, but the scars of the campaign remain. It showed how quickly respect can evaporate in football, even for a manager who had achieved so much. One area where Arsenal has consistently earned respect is in their development of young talent. The club has a proud tradition of nurturing promising players and turning them into stars. And here's the rub. Developing young players takes time, and time is a luxury that top-level football rarely affords. While Arsenal has been focusing on nurturing talent for the future, their rivals have been spending big on ready-made stars, reaping immediate rewards. It's like Arsenal is playing the long game in a sport that's all about instant gratification. For years, Arsenal was known for its beautiful attacking football, but in recent seasons, a less flattering reputation has taken hold. That of a team tactically naive and defensively fragile. It's like watching a Ferrari with a leaky gas tank. Beautiful to look at, but fundamentally flawed. This perception has been fueled by a series of high-profile debates, particularly amongst top opposition. Arsenal has developed an unfortunate habit of capitulating in big games, often conceding multiple goals in short periods. It's led to accusations that the team lacks tactical discipline and mental fortitude, that they're too focused on playing pretty football at the expense of results. But is this criticism fair? While it's true that Arsenal has had its defensive struggles, it's also true that they've shown signs of massive improvement under Mikel Arteta. The challenge now is to shake off this reputation and prove that they can combine their traditional attacking flair with solid defensive organisation. It's a balancing act, but one that's crucial if Arsenal is to regain respect in the football world. Enter Mikel Arteta, the young Spanish manager tasked with restoring Arsenal to its former glory. Since taking over in 2019, Arteta has embarked on a project of cultural reset at the club. He's instilled a new sense of discipline and tactical awareness, and has shown a willingness to make tough decisions for the good of the team. Under Arteta, Arsenal has shown flashes of brilliance. They've won an FA Cup, developed exciting young talents like Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, and at times played some truly scintillating football. There's a sense that the club is moving in the right direction, that the foundations have been laid for future success. But consistency remains elusive, and the club has still failed to win the Premier League title. The challenge for Arteta is to turn these promising signs into tangible, sustained success. Only then will Arsenal truly start to regain the respect they've lost. But here's the thing, respect in football, like in life, isn't given, it's earned. And earning it back after years of decline, that's a challenge worthy of the Arsenal of old. The question is, are the current crop up to the task? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be one hell of a ride. If you enjoyed this rollercoaster ride through Arsenal's fall from grace, smash that like and subscribe button.